Hello there, it's Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. Today I am sharing with you a mini slimline card made with this cute gnome stamp set. It is called Made with Love. Look how cute she is knitting with the little heart in the center. I thought this image would be perfect for a Valentine's card. So I'm going to color these with my Copic markers, and I'm starting with RV21 as my lightest color on her little knitting here. I think maybe she's going to make squares and make a blanket. What is it called when you knit it? An Afghan? Yeah, that. So I will bring in my darkest color, and I'm just shading the left-hand side of each of these knit rows to give it some depth with my darker color RV13. I'm going to color the heart in the center red, so I started with R17. I'm bringing in my darkest color R39 and blending that out with R29, and lastly bringing in my lightest color R17 to finish off that blend. Now anything that I'm coloring with one red color, I'm using my mid-tone R29, like the ribbon in her hair and the knitting needles. And then I'll use all three colors again to color out the gnome's hat. And I like leaving the gnome's hat in here because when I'm trying to figure out how to color things, the big parts of an image are always the parts that I'm most curious about how they are colored. So I left that in to show you how I created or colored this hat so that it has like a center highlight. And I am going over this a couple times just to make sure I get the blend that I want. So sometimes you have to do that on a bigger image and repeat the coloring process to really soften out those lines, and so that's what I've done here, and I love how it turned out. So for the little puppy's hat, I am using the same pink colors, and I'm coloring right over those polka dots because they are so teeny tiny, and I'm going to make them white with my gel pen at the end. For her hair, I started with W6 as my lightest color, and then I'm bringing in W10 and W8 to give her black hair with some highlights. And I just love this look for her hair. Now on to her skin, my lightest color is E11. Then I'm going to bring in E23 as my darkest to add in those shadows right under where her hat is and her hair touches her face. And then E13 for my mid-tone. I colored most of the image with that and then just soften it and blend it out again with my E11. Now for her clothes, I am doing some light gray, so C2, C6, and C4 are my three colors for that. It's a very small area, and so the blending is very slight, but it does add a little bit of shadow and highlights, so I like that. I thought she'd be super cute with some red boots, and so I used the same colors as her hat for that. And then for my puppy, I'm going to use the warm grays again, so I have a little black puppy. I just really wanted to keep my color palette in the pink and red and black kind of feel, so it was pretty cohesive and very, Valentine's feeling. So we'll color him and get him all blended. I love how he is wearing his hat to match the gnome. It's so sweet. Now I'm adding in some highlights with my white gel pen, and I always have to do this. It just finishes off my image when I add those highlights. So I'm doing that and coloring in those polka dots to finish off the puppy's hat. He's so cute. And there you can see all the markers I used to color out today's image. And now I'm going to work on my background. So for my mini slimline background, I have this panel that measures 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. And that will give me a panel that will mount onto my card base, which will be a 6 by 6 piece of paper scored at 3 inches. I'm going to add this polka dot stencil from the Lots of Polka Dot Slimline stencil set. It is the medium stencil in that set. So there are two other stencils, one with bigger polka dots and one with smaller polka dots. So now I'm just coming in with a heavier hand with that spun sugar, and that will darken up the area where the stencil has the openings for a two-tone background. I love doing this so much. I just like a tone-on-tone background. And Trinity Stamps does have slimline paper like this that has like a red background with darker red lines or dots, so I love that. And there is my background. It was very hard for me not to splatter my Distress Oxide background. Very hard. Now I'm bringing in the Happy Senti-mini stamp and die set. Now this die set die cuts out two pieces that layer together. It does not actually die cut out the Happy in the stamp set. That one is a standalone stamp that you can stamp when you don't want to die cut. You just want to like stamp it right on your paper. So I'm layering those up, and you can see the shadow behind this is very tiny. It's just a very slight shadow. So I'm arranging all the pieces on my background so I know where to put that sentiment. There are several cute little sentiments that you can mix and match and create different sentiments with these die cuts. So I love playing with those together. So I'm stamping You Make Me So with black ink, and then I can arrange my images back onto there and permanently adhere them. The gnome is being popped up with some foam squares, and then I'll glue down my layered Happy just like that right under that stamp sentiment, and that finishes off the card front. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down to my mini Slimline card base. And you should know there is a mini Slimline die set at Trinity. I'm going to link it for you below. I don't have it yet, but it's in my cart for my next order, and I'm going to put this in a Slimline envelope that die set creates. I'll link it for you below so you can check it out too, because I love this cute little size. It's a Slimline, but it's mini. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed today's video and will make some Valentine cards for the people in your life that maybe you haven't got to see lately. Thanks so much for watching, and happy stamping. Bye.